The stars looked different now. Captain Lee Jun stood at the bridge window of the USS Blackstar and watched the distant explosions light up the darkness. Each flash meant another human ship was dying. Each bright moment in space was someone's last breath. 3 years. That's how long the war had been going on. 3 years since the Vorthan Empire came from beyond the rim of known space with their massive ships and deadly weapons. 3 years of running and hiding and losing. Captain, the final weapon tests are complete, said Commander Park Hannah from behind him. Her voice was calm as always. Nothing seemed to shake her. That's why Lee trusted her more than anyone else on the ship. Lee turned away from the window. The bridge of the Blackstar was different from other human ships. Everything glowed with a soft blue light. The walls curved in ways that seemed almost alive. This wasn't just a warship. This was humanity's last hope wrapped in metal and energy. How did they perform? Lee asked. Better than expected, Park Hannah replied. She moved to the tactical display and touched the screen. Numbers and charts appeared in the air between them. The plasma cannons adapted to every target we threw at them. Rock, metal, energy shields. They learned how to break through everything. Chief Engineer Kim Woo looked up from his station. His hands were covered in oil and his uniform was dirty. He had been working for 18 hours straight. The weapons are smart, Captain. They remember what works and what doesn't. Every shot makes them better. Lee nodded. The Blackstar's weapons were unlike anything humans had ever built before. They didn't just fire energy. They thought they learned. They adapted. Scientists from Earth's best universities had worked for 2 years to create them. Sir, incoming transmission from Fleet Command, announced Lieutenant Commander Choi Min from the communications station. His young face looked worried. Put it through, Lee ordered. The main screen flickered and Admiral Chen's face appeared. The old man looked tired. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. Gray hair fell across his forehead. Captain Lee, the Vorthan fleet has broken through our outer defenses. They're moving toward the core systems. We need every ship we can get for the final defense of Earth. Lee felt his stomach drop. The outer defenses were supposed to hold for at least another month. How many ships do they have? Our scouts report over 800 vessels. Capital ships, destroyers, fighters, everything they've got. Admiral Chen paused. We're gathering what's left of our fleet at Rally Point 7. You're ordered to join us immediately. Understood, Sir Lee replied. The transmission ended. The bridge fell silent except for the quiet hum of the ship's engines. Everyone was thinking the same thing. 800 ships. The entire human fleet only had maybe 200 ships left, and most of those were damaged. Dr. Yoon Soo entered the bridge carrying a medical tablet. She was the ship's doctor, but she did more than just heal wounds. She kept the crew's spirits up when things looked impossible. The crew is ready, Captain, she said softly. Whatever you decide to do, they'll follow you. Lee looked around at his officers. These people had been with him for 2 years. They had trained together, fought together, and survived together. Now they were facing the end of everything they knew. Park, what do you think? He asked his first officer. Commander Park Hannah studied the tactical display for a long moment. Rally Point 7 is a defensive position. We'll be waiting for them to come to us, fighting on their terms. And if we don't go there, then we fight on our terms. Park's eyes met his. The Blackstar wasn't built to hide behind other ships, Captain. It was built to change the war. Kim Woo wiped his hands on a rag and stood up. The weapons are ready, sir. The ship is ready. The question is, are we going to use them the way everyone else fights, or are we going to show the galaxy what humans can really do? Lee walked back to the window. In the distance he could see more flashes of light, more ships dying, more people losing hope. The Vorthan Empire had conquered dozens of worlds. They had never been stopped. They had never been beaten, but they had never faced the USS Blackstar. Choi, open a channel to Fleet Command, Lee ordered. Channel open, sir. Admiral Chen, this is Captain Lee Jun of the USS Blackstar. We will not be joining the fleet at Rally Point 7. There was a pause. When Admiral Chen's voice came back, it was sharp. Captain, you have direct orders to, sir. With respect, the Blackstar wasn't designed to follow. It was designed to lead. Lee's voice was steady and strong. We're going to find the Vorthon Advance Force and show them something they've never seen before. Captain Lee, that's suicide. You're one ship against hundreds. No, sir. We're one ship that can think. One ship that can learn. One ship that refuses to give up. Lee looked at his crew. They were all watching him, all trusting him. We're going to Kepler Station. If we're right about their attack pattern, that's where they'll hit next. Admiral Chen was quiet for several seconds. Finally, he spoke. God help you, Captain, and God help us all. The transmission ended. Lee turned to face his crew. You heard the plan. Kepler Station has 50,000 civilians. The Vorthan fleet will be there in 6 hours. We'll be there in 4. Sir, said Choi Min, the reports say there are at least 20 enemy ships in that sector. Then we'll have to be 20 times better than they are. Lee replied. Kim, I want those weapons at full power. Park, start working on attack patterns, something they won't expect. What about Fleet Command? Asked Dr. Yoon Soo. Lee smiled for the first time in weeks. They told us to join the defense of Earth. Well, the best defense is a good offense. If we can hurt the Vorthons badly enough, maybe they'll think twice about attacking our home. The bridge came alive with activity. Officers moved to their stations, screens lit up with data. The ship's engines changed pitch as they prepared for maximum speed. Through the window, the stars began to move as the Blackstar turned toward its destination. Somewhere out there, an alien empire thought they had already won the war. They were about to learn that humans didn't know how to quit. The USS Blackstar jumped to hyperspace, carrying with it the hopes of an entire species. In 4 hours, the galaxy would see what happened when humanity decided to fight back. The war was about to change forever. The USS Blackstar dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system and immediately faced Hell. Captain Lee Jun stared at the main screen in shock. Kepler station was surrounded by 23 Vorthon warships. Their dark hulls gleamed like black metal against the stars. Energy beams lanced out from their weapons, striking the station's shields over and over. "My God," whispered Dr. Yun-Su from behind him. "Look at the size of those ships." The Vorthon vessels were massive. Each one was 3 times longer than the Blackstar. Their hulls were covered in strange symbols that glowed red in the darkness. They moved with purpose, like predators circling wounded prey. "Status report," Lee ordered. "Station shields are down to 30%, reported Lieutenant Commander Choi Min. I'm detecting massive civilian populations on all levels, at least 50,000 people." Commander Park Hannah moved to the tactical station. Her fingers danced across the controls as data flowed across her screen. "Enemy formation is standard Vorthon siege pattern. They're not expecting resistance." "How long do we have?" Lee asked. "At current rate of fire, the station's shields will collapse in 17 minutes, Park replied. "After that, the station will be destroyed in under 5 minutes. Chief Engineer Kim Woo looked up from his station. "Captain, the weapons are fully charged. All systems are green. But sir, we're 1 ship against 23. The math doesn't look good." Lee studied the tactical display. The Vorthon ships were arranged in a perfect circle around Kepler station. Their weapons fired in sequence, creating a constant barrage against the station's defenses. It was beautiful in a terrible way. "Park, analysis. What's their weakness?" Commander Park Hannah enhanced the display. "They're focused entirely on the station. They haven't detected us yet. We have the element of surprise. For how long, maybe? 2 minutes once we start firing." Lee felt the weight of 50,000 lives pressing down on him. In his mind, he could see the civilians inside the station. Families huddled together, children crying, people waiting to die. "Kim, what can our weapons do against those ships?" The engineer pulled up a schematic of the Vorthon vessels. "Their shields are strong, but they're designed for standard human weapons. Our adaptive plasma cannons are different. They'll analyze the shield frequency and adjust automatically. How many shots to bring down 1 ship?" "I don't know, sir. The weapons learn with each shot. First shot might do nothing. Second shot might do a little damage. By the 10th shot, we could punch right through." Lee nodded. "So we need to survive long enough for the weapons to learn." "That's the theory," Kim replied. Dr. Yun-Su stepped forward. "Captain, there are children on that station. Babies, families. We can't let them die." Lee looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision, trusting him to find a way to save 50,000 people with 1 ship. "Choi, open a channel to all stations," Lee ordered. "Channel open, sir. This is Captain Lee Jun. In 60 seconds, we're going to engage 23 enemy vessels. Our job is to buy time for the people on Kepler station. We're going to hit them hard and fast and keep hitting them until they break." He paused and looked around the bridge. "I won't lie to you. The odds are against us, but we have something they don't have. We have weapons that think. We have a ship that learns. And we have each other." "All stations report ready, Captain," announced Park Hannah. "Take us in full attack speed." The Blackstar surged forward. Its engines glowed bright blue as it accelerated toward the enemy formation. On the main screen, the Vorthon ships grew larger and larger. 15 seconds to weapons range, called out Choi Min. "Target the lead ship," Lee ordered. "All weapons." 10 seconds. "Park, evasive maneuvers ready." 5 seconds. "Fire." The Blackstar's plasma cannons erupted in brilliant streams of energy. 6 beams of pure destruction lanced out toward the nearest Vorthon ship. They struck the alien vessel's shields and exploded in showers of sparks. The enemy ship's shields flickered but held. "Minimal damage," reported Kim Woo. "But the weapons are analyzing the shield frequency." Suddenly, every Vorthon ship turned toward the Blackstar. Their massive hulls began to rotate, bringing their weapons to bear. "They've seen us," Park announced. 23 ships changing course to intercept. Evasive maneuvers. "Keep firing." The Blackstar twisted and rolled as enemy fire filled the space around it. Red energy beams shot past the bridge windows. The ship shook as a blast grazed its hull. "Fire again," Lee ordered. The plasma cannons fired a second time. This time the beams penetrated deeper into the enemy shields. Sparks flew from the Vorthon ship's hull. "Better," Kim reported. "The weapons are learning. Next shot should be even more effective." More enemy fire erupted around them. The Blackstar shook violently as multiple hits struck its shields. Shields down to 80%, announced Choi Min. Keep us moving, Park. Don't let them get a solid lock. The Blackstar danced between the enemy ships like a fighter avoiding giants. It was fast and nimble compared to the massive Warthen vessels, but there were so many of them. Third shot, Lee called out. The plasma cannons fired again. This time, the beams punched through the enemy ship's shields completely. Explosions erupted along its hull. Atmosphere vented into space. Direct hit, Kim shouted. The weapons have learned the shield frequency. They're adapting. Target the next ship. The fourth shot from the Blackstar's weapons tore through the second Vorthen vessel like it was made of paper. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light and debris. 1 down, Park reported. 22 to go. But now the Vorthen ships were changing their tactics. Instead of firing randomly, they were coordinating their attacks. Beams of energy converged on the Blackstar's position. Shields down to 50%, Choi announced. Kim, can we increase our rate of fire? I can try, sir, but the weapons are still learning. Each shot makes them more effective. The Blackstar destroyed 2 more Vorthen ships in quick succession. The adaptive plasma cannons were now cutting through enemy shields like they weren't even there, but the remaining enemy ships were closing in. The Blackstar was surrounded. Captain, Park said urgently, we need to break out of this formation, or they'll destroy us. Lee looked at the tactical display. The Vorthen ships were forming a tight circle around the Blackstar. In moments they would fire simultaneously from all directions. New plan, Lee announced. Full speed toward Kepler. Station used the station's mass to break their formation. Sir, that's dangerous. We could hit the station. Trust me. The Blackstar shot forward at maximum speed. The Vorthen ships tried to follow, but their formation broke apart as they struggled to avoid hitting each other. Now, Lee shouted, hit them while they're scattered. The Blackstar's weapons fired continuously. Each shot was more devastating than the last. Vorthen ships exploded one after another. The weapons had learned everything they needed to know within minutes. The space around Kepler Station was filled with the wreckage of the enemy fleet. Only 3 Vorthen ships remained, and they were retreating at maximum speed. Impossible, breathed Dr. Yun-Soo. We actually did it. Lee stared at the main screen in amazement. The USS Blackstar, 1 human ship, had destroyed 20 Vorthon vessels and saved 50,000 lives. Choi, open a channel to Kepler Station. Channel open, Sir. Kepler Station. This is Captain Lee Jun of the USS Black. You are safe. We're standing by to assist with evacuation procedures. The response came immediately. Captain Lee, this is Station Commander Park Jin. We can't believe what we just saw. How did you do that? Lee looked at his crew. They were all smiling now. For the first time in 3 years, humans had won a real victory against the Vorthen Empire. Commander Park, we did it the human way. We learned, we adapted, and we never gave up. As the Blackstar moved toward the station to begin rescue operations, Lee couldn't shake the feeling that everything had just changed. The Vorthens had never lost a battle before. Now they knew that humans could fight back. The war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had hope. News of the Blackstar's victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within hours, every human ship had heard about the impossible battle at Kepler Station. 1 ship had destroyed 20 Vorthen vessels and saved 50,000 lives. Captain Lee Jun stood in his quarters reading message after message from human colonies. Hope was returning to people who had given up. Children were drawing pictures of the Blackstar. Soldiers were requesting transfers to serve under his command. But the victory had also caught the attention of the Vorthen Empire. Commander Park Hannah entered his quarters carrying a datapad. Her face was serious. Captain, we've intercepted Vorthen communications. They're calling us the Ghost Ship. Ghost Ship. They don't understand how we destroyed their fleet so easily. Some of their commanders think we used forbidden weapons. Others believe we have alien technology. Park sat down across from him. But their high command knows the truth. We're just better than they expected. Lee took the datapad and read the translated messages. The Vorthen military was in chaos. For the first time in their history, they had suffered a major defeat. Their generals were demanding answers. What's their response? Lee asked. They've deployed the Ghost Fleet. Lee felt his blood turn cold. Every human military officer knew about the Vorthon Ghost Fleet. 5 ships equipped with the most advanced stealth technology in the galaxy. They were invisible to sensors, silent in space, and deadly beyond measure. How long before they find us unknown? Ghost Fleet ships can travel anywhere without being detected. They could be watching us right now. Chief Engineer Kim Woo's voice came over the intercom. Captain, please report to engineering. We have a problem. Lee and Park hurried through the ship's corridors. Crew members they passed looked worried. Word about the Ghost Fleet was spreading quickly. In engineering, Kim Woo was standing in front of a massive display showing the ship's weapon systems. Red warning lights flashed across multiple screens. What's the situation? Kim Lee asked. The adaptive plasma cannons are overheating. We pushed them too hard during the battle. They need at least 12 hours of cooldown time before we can use them again. Lee stared at the display. Without their main weapons, The Blackstar was just another ship, a well-armed ship but nothing special. Can we speed up the cooling process? Not without risking permanent damage to the systems. These weapons are prototypes. Captain, we're still learning how they work. Dr. Yunsu joined them in engineering. I've been monitoring crew stress levels. Everyone knows about the Ghost Fleet. They're scared, but they're ready to fight. Lieutenant Commander Choi Min's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from an unknown source. Put it through to engineering, Lee ordered. The main display flickered and changed. Instead of weapon diagnostics, they saw the face of a Vorthan commander. His skin was gray and rough like stone. His eyes glowed red in the darkness. Human vessel. Blackstar the alien spoke in heavily accented English. I am Commander Vex of the Ghost Fleet. You have committed acts of war against the Vorthan Empire. Surrender now and your crew will be allowed to live as prisoners. Lee stepped forward. This is Captain Lee Jun. We don't surrender to anyone. Your bravery at Kepler Station was impressive. But you face the Ghost Fleet now. We are invisible. We are silent. We are death itself. Commander Vex's image smiled, showing sharp teeth. You cannot fight what you cannot see. The transmission ended. Park. Hannah immediately moved to the nearest control panel, all sensors to maximum. Begin deep space scanning protocols. It won't help, Kim said quietly. Ghost Fleet ships don't show up on any known sensors. That's what makes them so dangerous. Lee thought for a moment. What if we don't look for their ships? What if we look for something else, like what? Gravitational distortions. Every ship with mass creates tiny changes in local gravity. Our deep space sensors were designed to detect those changes for navigation purposes. Kim's eyes widened. That might actually work. The stealth technology hides them from normal sensors, but it can't hide their mass. How long to reconfigure the sensors? Give me 30 minutes. Do it. Park, set course for the Helix Nebula. If we're going to fight invisible ships, let's do it somewhere that gives us an advantage. The USS Blackstar changed course and headed for the nearby nebula. The Helix Nebula was a dangerous region of space filled with asteroids, gas clouds, and electromagnetic storms. Most ships avoided it completely. 20 minutes into their journey, Choi Min's voice came over the intercom. Captain, I'm detecting strange readings on long-range sensors. Something is following us, but I can't get a clear image. The Ghost Fleet, Park said grimly. They're staying just out of sensor range. Kim looked up from his work. Gravitational sensors are online. Beginning scan for mass distortions. The engineering display changed to show a three-dimensional map of space around the Blackstar. At first it looked empty. Then small red dots began to appear. There, Kim pointed at the display. 5 contacts. They're maintaining formation about 10,000 kilometers behind us. Lee smiled. Not so invisible after all. Can we target them with conventional weapons? The targeting computers need visual confirmation. Without that, we're firing blind. The Blackstar entered the edge of the Helix Nebula. Immediately, the ship began to shake as it encountered pockets of charged gas and debris. Lightning flickered outside the windows as electromagnetic storms raged around them. Perfect, Lee said. Park, take us deeper into the asteroid field. Maximum evasive speed, sir. This is extremely dangerous. One wrong turn and we could hit an asteroid. That's the idea. If it's dangerous for us, it's dangerous for them too. The Blackstar weaved between massive floating rocks, some as large as cities. Behind them, the 5 Ghost Fleet ships followed, like predators stalking prey. They're closing the distance, reported Choi Min. Still invisible to normal sensors, but the gravitational readings are getting stronger. Kim wiped sweat from his forehead. Weapons are still cooling down. We need more time, then we'll buy some time. Lee studied the asteroid field ahead of them. A plan was forming in his mind. Park, see that cluster of asteroids at bearing 27 Mark 4. I see it, Captain. Why take us straight toward it full speed? Sir, that's a dead end. We'll be trapped. Trust me. The Blackstar shot forward toward a group of asteroids arranged in a rough circle. There was only one way in and one way out. It looked like a perfect trap. Ghost Fleet ships are accelerating, Choi announced. They think they have us cornered, Kim. How much longer on the weapons? 5 minutes minimum. We don't have 5 minutes. New plan. Lee turned to face his crew. We are going to use the asteroids as weapons. Park looked confused. How simple physics. We lure them into the asteroid cluster, then we use our engines to destabilize the largest rock. When it breaks apart, the debris will hit everything in the area. Including us, Dr. Yoon pointed out. That's why we're going to be somewhere else. When it happens, the Blackstar entered the asteroid cluster with the 5 Ghost Fleet ships right behind it. The invisible enemies were so close now that the gravitational sensors showed them clearly. Now, Lee ordered. The Blackstar suddenly reversed direction and shot out of the asteroid cluster at maximum speed. At the same moment, Kim fired the ships, mining lasers at the largest asteroid. The massive rock, already unstable from eons of electromagnetic bombardment, split apart in a chain reaction. Pieces of stone and metal flew in all directions like bullets from a giant gun. The Ghost Fleet, ships, caught in the middle of the explosion, had nowhere to run. Their stealth technology couldn't protect them from physical impacts. One by one, their hulls were torn apart by flying debris. All 5 contacts destroyed, Choi reported in amazement. Kim looked up from his station with a huge grin. Weapons are back online, Captain, but I don't think we need them anymore. Lee stared at the display showing the remains of the Ghost Fleet scattered among the asteroids. The Vorthan Empire's most elite ships had been destroyed not by advanced weapons but by simple human cleverness. Set course for home, he ordered. It's time to show the galaxy that the USS Blackstar is more than just a ghost story. As the ship left the Helix Nebula behind, Lee couldn't help but smile. The Vorthans had sent their best hunters to destroy him. Instead, they had learned that sometimes the prey was more dangerous than the predator. The legend of the Blackstar was growing, and with it, humanity's chance of winning the war. 2 weeks after the destruction of the Ghost Fleet, everything changed. Admiral Lee Jun stood on the bridge of the USS Blackstar wearing his new uniform. The promotion had come with new responsibilities and a fleet of 200 ships under his command, but more importantly, it had come with hope. "Admiral, all ships are reporting ready," announced Captain Park Hannah from the command chair. She now wore the captain's insignia that Lee had passed to her. The retrofit operations were completed ahead of schedule. Lee looked at the tactical display showing the human fleet arranged in perfect formation. Every ship now carried adaptive weapons based on Blackstar technology. Chief Engineer Kim Woo had spent 2 weeks working around the clock with teams from across the galaxy to make it happen. "The status of the enemy fleet?" Lee asked. "Long-range sensors show the Vorthan Armada approaching the outer edge of the solar system," reported Commander Choi Min from his new position as Fleet Communications Officer. "Over 1,000 ships, Admiral. Every vessel they have left." Dr. Yoon Soo, now serving as Fleet Medical Coordinator, stepped forward. "Admiral, the crews are ready. Morale is higher than it's been in 3 years. They believe in what we're doing." Lee nodded. The past 2 weeks had been a whirlwind of activity. Word of the Blackstar's victories had spread to every human colony. Volunteers had poured in from across known space. Old ships had been pulled out of storage and equipped with the new weapons. Even civilian vessels had been converted into fighting ships. But the Vorthan Empire had responded with everything they had. Their emperor himself was leading the final assault. This would be the largest space battle in galactic history. Kim's status of the adaptive weapon systems across the fleet. Chief Engineer Kim Woo looked up from his station. He had been promoted to Fleet Engineering Director but insisted on staying aboard the Blackstar. "All weapons are online and synchronized. Admiral, they're sharing tactical data in real time. When one ship learns something new about enemy defenses, every ship in the fleet learns it instantly. That's our advantage," Lee said. Individual ships working together as one mind. The main screen showed the approaching Vorthan fleet. Their ships filled the darkness like a swarm of metal insects. At the center was the Emperor's flagship, a massive vessel the size of a small moon. "Admiral, incoming transmission from the Vorthan flagship," Choi announced. "Put it through." The screen changed to show a Vorthan unlike any they had seen before. His skin was pure black and covered in glowing red symbols. His eyes burned like stars. This was Emperor Vextar, ruler of the Vorthan Empire. "Human Admiral," the Emperor spoke in perfect English. "I have come personally to end this rebellion. Your victories against my fleets were impressive, but now you face the might of an entire empire." Lee stepped forward. "Emperor Vextar, this is Admiral Lee Jun. Your empire has terrorized innocent worlds for too long. Today, that ends." The Emperor laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "You have 200 ships, I have 1,000. Your mathematics are poor, Admiral. Your ships are bigger," Lee replied calmly, "but ours are smarter. And we fight for something. You'll never understand what is that. Freedom." The transmission ended. Lee turned to face his bridge crew. These people had been with him from the beginning. They had shared every victory and every loss. Now they would share the most important battle of their lives. "All ships, this is Admiral Lee. In 5 minutes, we engage the enemy. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth, we're fighting for every world the Vorthans have conquered, for every family they've destroyed, for every dream they've crushed." He paused and looked around the bridge. "Today, we show the galaxy what happens when humanity refuses to surrender." The two fleets approached each other across the empty darkness of space. The human ships moved in perfect coordination, their adaptive weapons charging with blue energy. The Vorthan fleet advanced like a dark tide, their red weapons glowing with deadly intent. "Range to target 1,000,000 kilometers and closing," reported Commander Choi. "All ships, prepare for engagement," Lee ordered. At 800,000 kilometers, the Vorthan fleet opened fire. Thousands of red energy beams lanced across space toward the human ships. The barrage was so intense it looked like a crimson storm. "Evasive maneuvers," Captain Park commanded. "All ships, scatter formation." The human fleet broke apart like a flower opening its petals. Ships twisted and rolled, avoiding the enemy fire through superior speed and agility. Only a few vessels were hit, and their shields absorbed most of the damage. "Return fire," Lee ordered. 200 human ships fired their adaptive weapons simultaneously. Blue energy beams crossed the distance between the fleets and struck the Vorthan vessels. At first, the enemy shields held, but with each shot, the weapons learned and adapted. Enemy shields failing on multiple targets, Kim reported. The weapons are sharing data. They're learning faster than ever before. Vorthan ships began to explode as the adaptive weapons found ways through their defenses. But the enemy fleet was massive. For every ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. "Admiral, we're taking heavy casualties," Park announced. "We've lost 15 ships." Lee watched the tactical display. The human fleet was fighting bravely, but they were outnumbered 5 to 1. Even with superior technology, the mathematics were against them. "New plan," he announced. "All ships target the Emperor's flagship. Concentrated fire." "Sir, that ship is heavily shielded. It would take everything we have to bring it down," Kim warned. "Then that's what we'll give it." The entire human fleet turned toward the massive Vorthan flagship. Every ship fired at once, creating a river of blue energy that crossed space like lightning. The Emperor's ship shuddered under the assault. Its shields flickered and sparked, but they held. Again, Lee ordered. The second barrage was even more intense. The adaptive weapons had learned from the first attack. Energy beams punched deeper into the enemy shields. "Their shields are weakening," reported Choi, "but they're returning fire." The Vorthan flagship's weapons were unlike anything they had faced before. Massive beams of energy swept across space, destroying human ships with single shots. "We've lost 30 ships," Park announced grimly. Lee made a decision that would haunt him forever. All remaining ships ramming speed. "Target the flagship's weapons." "Admiral, no," Dr. Yoon protested. "Those crews have families, and those families will die if we lose this battle." 50 human ships broke formation and charged directly at the Emperor's flagship. They fired their weapons continuously as they approached, their hulls glowing white-hot from enemy fire. One by one they crashed into the massive Vorthan vessel. Each impact weakened the flagship's shields. Each sacrifice brought victory closer. "Their shields are down," Kim shouted. "The flagship is vulnerable. All ships full attack," Lee ordered. The remaining human vessels unleashed everything they had. Adaptive weapons, conventional missiles, even mining lasers. The Emperor's flagship was torn apart by the concentrated assault. When the massive ship, but certainly as an actor, was visible from Earth itself, the Emperor of the Vorthan Empire was dead. "The enemy fleet is retreating," reported Choi in amazement. "They're breaking off and heading for deep space." Lee stared at the tactical display. They had won. Humanity had won. But the cost had been terrible. Over 100 ships and their crews were gone forever. "All ships, stand down," he ordered quietly. "Begin search and rescue operations." Captain Park moved to stand beside him. "Admiral, we did it. The war is over." Lee nodded, but he felt no joy. Victory had come at too high a price. Too many good people had died to see this moment. Dr. Yoon Soo placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "They died as heroes, Admiral. Their sacrifice saved billions of lives." Through the bridge windows, Lee could see Earth in the distance. The blue and green world looked peaceful in the starlight. Children would grow up free because of what happened here today. "Begin preparations for the liberation fleets," he ordered. "We have work to do." The war was over, but humanity's real mission was just beginning. Across the galaxy, billions of people were still living under Vorthan rule. It was time to set them free. The USS Blackstar had started as humanity's last hope. Now it would become the symbol of a new age of galactic freedom. 6 months after the Battle of Seoul, Admiral Lee Jun stood in the Great Assembly Hall on Earth watching history being made. Representatives from 47 different worlds sat around a massive circular table. Humans, aliens who had been freed from Vorthan rule, and even former Vorthan commanders who had joined the new alliance. The Galactic Accord was about to be signed. Captain Park Hannah approached from across the hall. She wore the dress uniform of the new Terran Galactic Council, but Lee knew she was eager to get back to space. The USS Blackstar was waiting in orbit, ready for its next mission. "The representatives are ready, Admiral," she said quietly. "They're waiting for you to speak." Lee looked around the hall. These people had come from across the galaxy to witness this moment. Many of them had been slaves under Vorthan rule just months ago. Now they were free citizens of a new galactic community. "I never thought I'd see this day," he admitted. "None of us did, but here we are." Lee walked to the center of the hall. The representatives fell silent as he began to speak. 6 months ago, we were losing a war. The Vorthan Empire controlled half the galaxy. Billions of people lived in fear. Today, we gather as equals to build something better. He paused and looked around the room. This accord isn't just about peace. It's about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It's about ensuring that no empire ever again conquers innocent worlds. The signing ceremony took 3 hours. Each representative added their name to the document that would reshape the galaxy. When it was finished, Lee felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The war was truly over. After the ceremony, Lee met with his senior officers in a private conference room. Chief Engineer Kim Woo had been promoted to Director of Galactic Technology Development. His job was to share human innovations with allied worlds while developing new technologies for exploration and defense. How are the liberation fleets progressing? Lee asked. Commander Choi Min, now Admiral Choi and leader of the 3rd Liberation Fleet, pulled up a holographic display. We've freed 18 worlds in the past month. The Vorthan garrison forces surrender as soon as they see our ships. They know they can't win. Dr. Yoon Soo, now Chief Medical Officer for the Galactic Council, added her report. The refugee camps are emptying. Most people are choosing to return to their home worlds. The psychological healing will take time, but they're free. Kim looked up from his datapad. The new Academy of Adaptive Technology is accepting students from 12 different species. We're learning as much from them as they are from us. Lee smiled. And the Blackstar Captain Park's eyes lit up, ready for deep space exploration. Admiral, we've received requests from the Council to investigate the uncharted regions beyond former Vorthan space. There are entire sectors we know nothing about. Any signs of new threats? Nothing hostile so far. But we've detected artificial signals from at least 6 different sources. There are other civilizations out there, Admiral. Some of them might be more advanced than anything we've encountered. Lee nodded. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries. Humanity had proven itself capable of defending freedom, but now they faced the challenge of exploration and diplomacy with unknown species. When do we leave? The ship is fueled and ready. All systems have been upgraded with the latest technology. We have a crew of 200, including specialists from 8 different worlds. Lee looked around at his friends and colleagues. They had started this journey as desperate defenders of a dying cause. Now they were pioneers of a new age. 3 days later, the USS Blackstar departed Earth orbit for the last time. The ship had been extensively modified for long-range exploration. New scientific equipment filled the cargo bays. The crew quarters had been expanded to accommodate alien species with different environmental needs. Lee stood on the bridge watching Earth shrink behind them. The blue and green world looked peaceful in the starlight. Children were playing in parks where once they had hidden in bunkers. The skies were clear of enemy ships. Of course, plotted for the Andromeda sector, Admiral reported the navigation officer, a young woman named Lieutenant Hanso who had joined the crew fresh from the academy. Take us out, Lieutenant. The Blackstar jumped to hyperspace, leaving the familiar stars of human space behind. Their destination was a region of space that no human had ever seen before. Long-range sensors had detected signs of advanced civilization, but nothing more was known. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission, announced Lieutenant Commander Eugene, the new communications officer, from where unknown source. The signal is coming from ahead of us, near our destination. Put it through. The main screen flickered and showed something that made everyone on the bridge gasp. It was clearly an alien, but unlike any they had encountered before. The being appeared to be made of pure energy, shifting and flowing like liquid light. Greetings, travelers from the Sol System, the being spoke in perfect English. I am Ambassador Lux of the Stellar Collective. We have been watching your conflict with the Vorthan Empire. Your victory was most impressive. Lee stepped forward. This is Admiral Lee Jun of the Terran Galactic Council. How do you know our language? We have been observing your broadcasts for many years. We are peaceful explorers, like yourselves. We would like to meet with you and discuss mutual cooperation. Park looked at Lee with excitement. First contact. With a new species, Admiral, this could change everything. Ambassador Lux, we would be honored to meet with you. Where shall we rendezvous? There is a neutral station at the edge of this sector. We will await you there. Be warned, however, not all species in this region are as peaceful as we are. There are ancient powers that slumber in the darkness between stars. Your arrival may wake them. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Kim whistled softly. Ancient powers. What do you think that means? I don't know, Lee replied. But we'll face whatever comes. We always do. Dr. Yoon moved to stand beside him. The crew is excited. Admiral, this is what we trained for. Exploration, discovery, building bridges between species. Lee looked at the starfield ahead of them. Somewhere out there were new worlds, new civilizations, new challenges. The USS Blackstar had been humanity's weapon of war. Now it would be their ship of discovery. All hands. This is Admiral Lee, he announced over the ship's communication system. We are entering uncharted space. Our mission is to explore, to learn, and to build alliances with peaceful species. We go forward not as conquerors, but as friends. He paused and smiled. The war is over. The age of exploration has begun. The USS Blackstar continued on its course toward the unknown. Behind them lay a galaxy finally at peace. Ahead lay infinite possibilities. Whatever dangers awaited them in the darkness between stars, humanity would face them with courage, wisdom, and the knowledge that they were no longer alone. The ship that had once been humanity's last hope had become their first step toward a glorious future among the stars. The legend of the Blackstar would continue, but now it would be a legend of discovery rather than destruction. As the ship jumped deeper into hyperspace, Lee couldn't help but wonder what new adventures awaited them. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was finally ready to explore them all.